balancing a budget sheet. They call it budget variance. How much are you varying from what you budgeted? So just to kind of get a glimpse into what they're wanting, they take a look at the parts of the chart that are filled in. So for groceries, the amount budgeted was $4.50. In April, the amount they actually spent was $4.25. So they didn't spend all of their budget amount. The variance was $25, positive 25. So that means they have 25 extra dollars because they didn't overspend. Okay. Then in May, they spent $4.75. Well, they'd only budgeted $4.50 still. So now they spent 25 over, so they're $25 in the hole. That's why there's the negative there. And so the variance, you combine the variances for the 2 months. Well, a positive 25 and a negative 25 gives you 0. So let's look at the next one. So the next one is utilities. They budgeted $3.75. In April, they spent $3.80. So they spent 5 too much, and they're $5 in the hole. So they have negative 5. Okay. Well, in May, they spent $3.70. They had budgeted $3.75 and only spent $3.70. So they saved 5 extra dollars by not spending that. And now they're up $5. The variance for the 2 months together, they had negative 5, positive 5, wash each other out to 0. Okay. Next, we have the house payment is $7.15. They paid $7.15, so there was no variance, nothing extra, nothing too far. In May, they paid $7.15 again, which was what they budgeted, so 0 variance. So together there is 0 variance. So let's start trying some of these down here. The first one they leave blank for us is transportation. And again, don't just write down the numbers that I use because I changed the numbers. So don't just type in my answers into your spreadsheet. Use what you learn here to complete your own. Okay, so it says they budgeted $400 and they actually spent $350. They spent less than they had budgeted, so they're saving some money. So in their variance, we subtract those. What's the difference between $400 and $350? And it's $50. $50 positive because that was money they didn't spend, so they have 50 extra dollars. In May, they spent $400. Well, they had budgeted $400 a month. They spent $400, so they didn't go over, they didn't go under. There was 0 variance. Then we put the two together. 50 plus 0 gives us $50 here. Okay, let's try another one. Let's try the next line. The next line is clothing. Okay, so they budgeted $80 and the first month spent $55.42. So let's find the difference there. 80 minus $55.42. Okay, so again, subtract those. And is this good or bad? They spent less. Okay, so that's good. This is a positive change. They spent less than they had budgeted, so that's extra money, and it's $24.58. But then in May, they spent $90. Well, they'd only budgeted $80, so they went over their budget, so we're going to put a negative here. That puts them in the hole, $10. Because they budgeted $80, spent $90. Do the difference. On our last one here, we're supposed to combine the two variances. So combine $24.58 and negative $10. And that leaves us with a difference of a positive $14.58. Okay, let's try the next line. So next is credit card payment. They budget $150 a month. That first month, April, they spend $150, so that was a wash. They didn't go over, they didn't go under. In May, they spent $175. They budgeted $150, spent $175. So they went over. We're going to put negative. That puts them in the hole a little. Okay. Negative. And how much did they overspend? Well, $175 minus $150 is $25. They went over by $25. So I'm going to put $25 there. Then I'm supposed to combine the two variants. So it looks like in this month I had 0 variance. and I combine that with my next month, it was negative 25, so really I just end up with negative 25. Okay, let's do the next blank spot. It says entertainment. You budget $40, they spent $48.50, so they went over by $8.50. So we put negative $8.50 here. Okay, so to find the difference, you just subtract the $48.50 and the 40. Again, I know it's going to be a negative because they overspent, so they're in the hole. But then in May, they spent $32.25. They had budgeted 40, spent $32.25. So this time they did better. They didn't overspend. We want to find the difference between those two. And when we do that, we get $7.75. The bigger number, okay, they were under budget. Okay, they didn't go over, so that's a positive. Okay, so we're supposed to combine those two. So we have a negative $8.50, a positive $7.75. Find the difference between them. Find the difference because they had different signs. And they have a difference of 75 cents. Now here, should it be a positive or negative number? It's 75, positive or negative? Well, the bigger number was negative. They're still in the hole a little bit here because they didn't save quite enough the next time. Okay, we're getting down there. Now we're on dining out. We're on the dining out tab down here. You budgeted $70, spent $54, so that's good. That's in the positive. You didn't overspend. You spent less than you had budgeted. That's good. That's positive. Just find the difference. We get a difference of $16. So $16 positive was the variance. The next month, you spend $68.20. So still, you didn't overspend, but we want to know what our variance is. Okay, how much good did we do there? And you get $1.80. Okay, so again, it's positive because you were within your budget. We want to find the total variance for the 2 months, so we add the $16 to the $1.80, and we get $17.80. Alright, we have one more blank down here, and it's the total variance. So what we're going to do is total these. Now those, some are positive and some are negative. So let's take a look. So we have $50. All of these were zeros, so they're not going to amount to anything. 50 plus $14.58 minus $25 minus 75 cents plus $17.80 plus 20 plus $2.30, and that will give us our total variance. So again, start at the top with that 50 plus 14.58 minus 25 minus 0.75 plus 17.8 plus 20 plus $2.30, and we get $78.93. Okay, so that's how you do page 3.